What was your biggest "we need to leave now" moment? When I was about 16, I went to visit my grandmother at her place. The smell of natural gas was intense, even though Nana didn't seem to notice it much. She was groggy, sort of half asleep, not her usual responsive self. So I made her get out of the house at once and opened the windows and doors. I called Dad, and he reported it to the gas company, who sent inspectors right away. They shut off the gas valve in the street immediately and sent a repair crew to fix a leaking joint in the gas supply pipe. The inspector said that if I hadn't acted then and there, the probability was great that there would soon have been an explosion. I was in a mall in Indonesia and two tourists seemed to be having problems communicating with the cashier at a bookstore, so I helped translate. They wanted to buy me drinks to thank me. Told them it's not necessary and I have to get back to my mom soon. They told me to meet them for dinner. Told them I have to have dinner at home. They told me to sneak out and meet them after dinner. At this point, a bookstore staff noticed something was wrong and went up to question them. My sister and I dashed off while they were distracted, continued wandering around the mall, and realized they were following us. To see if we were just paranoid, we ducked into a lingerie store, since we figured two men won't usually need to go lingerie shopping together. They followed us in. Ran so quickly back to the jewelry store our mom was at. The store had intimidating security guards and I guess that stopped those guys. I was 11, my sister was 10. Woodstock 99. Felt the energy of the grossly overpacked crowd, the building rage, and looked my friends and said we need to go. They stayed. I left. Shortly after, fire and riots started and my friends lost everything they had with them. Tents, clothes, food, everything. When you have 300k people shoulder to shoulder in 104-degree humidity and charge $4 for a bottle of water and have half as many bathrooms as needed, you're gonna have a bad time. Met this cute girl at a party. Spent the whole night dancing and flirting. Offered to drive her home and she agreed. We were making out in the car in front of her house when another car pulls up with their headlights beaming at us. I ask if that's a neighbor and if we are blocking their driveway. She replies no, that's my husband. Husband's car door opens and I noped the hell out of there. Dropped her straight back at the party and never saw her again. Her excuse was that they were separated and he shouldn't have a problem with it. I sure wasn't sticking around to find out. I was waiting at the train station to pick up a friend of mine. I was early, so I decided to stand in the sun right outside of the station. A guy with a bicycle walked up to me asking in broken English if I knew how late the train would arrive. After I answered the question, he stayed around and starting talking to me. Now I know that's not weird at all, but the things he asked and the way he acted and looked just gave me a creepy vibe. Eventually, he asked if I would walk with him while he dropped his bicycle off. I didn't want to because the place to store bicycles at this station is very secluded, and to be honest I didn't want to be alone with this guy. So I noped out and walked into the station. He started yelling at me, calling me names, but at that moment the train came in and it got very busy, so he left. A few months later I read this article in the local paper about a girl being violated at the station. They had put a drawing of a guy next to the article as he was not yet caught. It was the same guy. To this day I'm very happy I didn't go with him. Grocery shopping with my grandma. She's tired, normal for her, but she's getting a bit slower and dragging her leg more than usual. At the checkout counter, I saw her face was a little droopy and I said we are leaving now and going to ER. They gave her a bottle of water for the car ride which she ended up choking on and vomiting up all the water. Called ahead to ER, so they were ready and they took care of her as soon as possible. She was having a stroke and they were able to help her quick enough so that she didn't have any long-lasting issues. About 2 months ago I'd stayed up past my usual bedtime, and as soon as I got in bed I smelled something odd and was hearing some inconsistent banging and clattering from downstairs. I don't live in a great neighborhood so none of this was unusual, but I got out of bed to check anyway and saw flames licking up the side of the building. Yelled at my wife to get out of bed and threw on some clothes and we hightailed it out. Our building has a shared wall with the next, and that one had an apartment on the ground floor fully engulfed. By the time we made it outside, ended up condemning the whole building. I was the first one to call 911. Have been keeping myself awake in the night pretty consistently since then. The owner of Mexican restaurant threw 2 young farm workers at the bar out to the parking lot. They were drunk as monkeys and proceeded to try to fight, but mostly just leaned on each other, all in front of the picture window, while the place is full of people. Then one runs to his trucks and burns rubber out there. I said, time to go honey. She says, what? Those buttholes aren't done. And I'm not going to be here when the shooting starts. We left. It did. Not long after. I was waiting for an Uber on the outskirts of Atlanta with a couple of friends around 10 p.m. We were just shooting the crap after leaving a nearby restaurant and talking about what bar to go to. A disheveled older man walked up a few feet behind one of my friends and struck a weird pose for 2 to 3 minutes while looking in our direction, and there was no one else around. Then he walked off without saying a word. He came back a few minutes later and sat down on the sidewalk about 5 feet away from us. At this point, I'm just wondering if he wants something from us, because there was absolutely no other reason to plop down that close to us on an empty sidewalk. Then a small sedan pulls in a nearby parking lot, parking behind some bushes in the spot closest to us, and consequently furthest from any of the shops in that lot. I only noticed because I happened to be facing that direction, but then saw 6 guys pile out of the sedan and immediately cross the street directly towards us. I realized there were not any shops or restaurants still open nearby. It suddenly occurred to me that the strange dude might have been sizing us up when he was watching us earlier, and he came back to mark us. We were all dressed nice with smartphones out and watches visible, basically the fanciest stuff we had for a night out. Right as I started to speak up that we should head back towards other people, our Uber pulled up to the curb. As we drove away, I watched those 6 guys talking in a circle where we had just been standing, and then they crossed the street again and got back in their car. I'll never have a definitive answer, but I'm pretty sure we were 10 seconds away from some unfortunate shenanigans. Late afternoon in the summer, I'm waiting in the bus station near my house. Most businesses are closed, not a lot of cars in the street. Guy passes in front of me. He passes again 2 minutes later, watching me suspiciously. Alarms start to go in my head, screaming to me that I need to leave and get the hell out of here, but I ignore it since the bus will come in 10 minutes. The 3rd time he passes, he charges to me, pushing me to the wall with his genitals out. I freeze for some seconds, then start punching and kicking him. I manage to get away, and the rest is history. Yeah, trust your guts, guys. I used to bartend in my local bigger city, yet still small. Widely known for being a city you can leave stuff out in the park, like chairs and blankets, and no one will even touch them. Well, many years ago the city was known for servers and bartenders getting jumped on their way home from a shift due to us carrying cash and not having ample parking in the city. No one is paying $30 a day to park when you work, so you frequently had to walk over a mile to your car. I ended up getting followed to my car one night. It's around midnight. The streets are usually completely empty aside from the occasional drinker standing outside having their smoke. And I'm female, 5 feet 3 inches, 110 pounds, soaking wet with a towel on my head, so virtually defenseless. Every time I walked faster, he did. Crossed the street, and then I just happened to come across a couple walking, and I sped walked until they were in earshot, and I whisper yelled, I think I'm being followed, help me. Without missing a beat they changed their pace, so I was immediately with them walking, and they both put arms around me and made sure not only I got to my car, but was in my car, and waited for me to drive out of sight of them to make sure I still wasn't being followed, since he ended up going in the same parking lot as I was parked. I will never forget them, as long as I live. A friend and I were exploring an abandoned hospital, and the way it was set out was via a bunch of joined buildings. All the windows and doors were boarded up aside from one place where we could squeeze in past a loose board, and the layout meant that once we were in through there, we had access to pretty much the entire main building. Obviously, it was darker than dark in there, and we have to remember which wing we'd come in from. We had flashlights, so it wasn't too bad. But then we got to this room, where there was a lot of cool stuff left behind. Beds, filing cabinets, etc. And we wanted to take pictures. So we turned the flashlights off, so we could use the flash on the camera. We did this for 10 minutes or so, only seeing the room and the bright flash from the camera. Everything was cool, and then we both slowly became aware of noises. Usually, an abandoned building is pretty quiet apart from water dripping and wind doing weird things, but we could hear floors creaking, doors creaking, the occasional scrape or crash of metal against the floor. Basically, it sounded like someone was blundering around in the dark. Now, the layout means that, in order to get back to where we came in, we have to walk back towards the noise. There's only one route. We are getting freaked out, so we start moving back through the rooms, stopping to listen to all the while. Finally, we get to the side hall that we came in from, and we bolt to the door at the end, finally risking turning the flashlights on and making noise. It's the wrong door. We stand there, listening to the footsteps get closer. We are frozen, standing in the dark, totally cornered. If whoever or whatever is making that noise comes down this short hall, we are doomed. We wait and listen, holding our breaths. The scraping and shuffling approaches slowly come past and then fades. We wait a bit and then creep out of the hall and into the main building again. Carefully we move one hall over where we can see a sliver of light from the loose board. We quietly make our way towards it. Then we hear an almighty scrape and bang behind us, as though someone tripped over one of the huge metal filing cabinets. I mean, it was loud. I yell time to go, and we sprint for the door, and there are clear footsteps right behind us. We launch ourselves through the loose board and down the overgrown path, before taking a quick look back. We can't see anything through the small gap, but we do not stick around to see if that changes. My friend and I, both females, met up our first time back home from college. It was a surprisingly nice day outside in the middle of winter, so we decided to get lunch and eat outside. We found a park that had no one there and was sitting at a picnic table catching up when I see a scruffy looking guy in a large work van with no rear windows pull into the parking lot. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to him at first, but I noticed he was moving around the outside of the van for a bit, and he kept looking our way. He finally walked down the sidewalk toward us, and passed by our picnic table, and walked around the back side of the restroom building to look down the hill on the other side of it, very obviously casing out the place. He walked back to his van and me and my friend were discussing what we were going to do, while I watched him open up the back of the van and start digging around it. He made a call on his cell phone and a few minutes later another male pulled up in a different car. He got out and started talking to the first guy, who not very discreetly pointed our direction. They immediately started walking toward us, and my friend and I scooped what was left of lunch and fast walked out of the place while keeping an eye on them. One of the times in my life I could literally feel the hair on the back of my neck standing on end. It could have been nothing, but even now I feel pretty certain that they had something planned, and I'm glad we left. I'm 19 female, on a Greek island last May with my cousin, 22 female. As a part of a trip, we like to go on aimless walks out of the towns we stayed in, to see what was around. On our way back from one of these walks we were on a long narrow road that dropped off on each side to beaches. A small green car passes by us in the same direction we are walking and stops 50 to 100 yards in front of us, just sitting on the road. We say maybe they are just taking in the view. We continue to walk, and when we finally get to the car, the passenger, our side, window is down, and the man is staring at us through the mirror. As soon as we pass, the car pulls forward past us again. Immediately after, the green car drives past us again. A large truck drives past, again in the same direction, and pulls alongside the green car. They both stop for a moment and are clearly talking to each other. The green car speeds off. The black truck drives forward a bit more and then stops on the same side of the road again. Keep in mind we are on a narrow road. We can't turn around because the town is the other way. Behind us is just beaches and a couple of houses. The black truck is stopped on our side of the road. As we get closer, the driver opens the front and back door to the cab but does nothing else. Just stands there outside of the truck, mostly looking back towards us. We decide that this is way too sketchy. Both cars were clearly keeping an eye on us and watching and communicating. When we get closer to the truck we nope off of the road and drop into the beach. We get as far away from the road as the beach will allow us and start speed walking. The man from the truck crosses the road and watches us with binoculars from the side of the beach. We ran until we caught up with another couple and followed them back into town. I saw the same green car drive back past us multiple times as we ran parallel to the road down the beach. We made it back to our hotel/apartment thing safely and locked and tied up our doors to the balcony and hall. Anything can happen anywhere. Do your research, learn self-defense, and always be aware of your surroundings, but always be open to new places. I was on a date with a girl hiking a trail system that I knew like the back of my hand. Something felt weird, but I shook it. We went, and around sunset, we were going to swim in one of the deep pools in the creek. Maybe 2 miles into the trail I get the feeling again, and she's talking her head off, but I was just listening to everything around me. I told her to stop talking, and she looked at me very concerned. I just put my finger to my lips and listened. I heard something familiar, but I couldn't place it. We never stopped walking. We came to the arroyo just before the creek pool, and I heard it again. By this time I knew. I told her we were going to walk to the clearing where the arroyo was at and turn around. She told me she heard something weird. As we came to the clearing, we stood there like statues, dead silent. Her nails cut my arm from gripping it so hard. Then around 15 feet from us, the biggest mountain lion I've ever seen crossed the clearing with 2 of its young. She looked at us, and as our eyes met, my soul left my body, and I felt her grip tighten around my arm even tighter. She stopped, and so did her babies. I'm guessing she sized us up, and then just kept going. The babies kept turning around looking at us, but ultimately they just slowly crossed the top of the hill, and that was that. We turned around and told everyone we saw on the way in that there were 3 mountain lions on the trail. They all turned around and left. That was the first time I was ever scared out in nature. I didn't have a handgun on me. I had been there 100 times. She told me the sound she heard was a deep purring, and that was what I kept hearing also. I just hadn't put it together. I was in college when I had my first solo apartment. This guy across the hall would come over or invite me over, and we'd hang out a few times. However, I would not call him a friend. One night he asks me to loan him some money. In addition to not wanting to loan him money, I don't really have any, so he proceeds to ask for a ride to see his girlfriend because she has some money for him. I agree. We arrive at her apartment and a small party is going on. When we walked into the party, everyone immediately shuts up and stares at us. He runs off to find his girlfriend, who I find out is his ex-girlfriend. It is awkward because I'm kind of this guy's friend by association, and I'm getting lots of angry stares. He gets into an argument with her, and we are basically thrown out of this place. He then asks if I can take him to another part of town. He owes another guy some money and needs to go talk to him. We proceed to an unfamiliar part of town, and he instructs me to park in a fairly isolated spot. He explains that he doesn't want the other guy to see my car because he might take it. He owes this guy money for gambling or drugs or something else bad, and he is way behind on his payments. I left him and spent the rest of my time in that apartment avoiding him. Girls camp. My last year, me and a small group of girls wanted to climb to the top of this big hill that has a beautiful lookout above the trees and clear view of the sky. It was a new moon and zero light pollution. We grabbed our flashlights and got on the trail. About 3/4 of the way up, the 2 girls leading us stopped dead in their tracks at the same time. One whispered to the other, "Do you feel that?" I was right behind them and heard what they said. I looked up and around. I didn't see anything, but something in the air made the hair on my neck stand on end. It was just too quiet. I started to feel very vulnerable and scared. One of the girls in front turned and said, "We need to go back. Don't run." One girl asked why not run, and they said, "So you don't trip." Valid reason, but I don't believe it was the real reason she said it. Driving to Disney with Hubs and 2 little kids, 4 and 5. Stopped at a gas station in Tifton, Georgia at about 10 p.m. Wander in a little bleary-eyed with the 2 kids looking for the bathroom. Clark looks at me funny and points. While I'm in there, I hear she's got 2 babies with her man. Just let them pee and go. I grab both kids and walk straight back to the car with only a small head nod to the Clark. Hubs was done pumping gas and about to go in himself. I yelled for everyone to get in the car. I would explain later. As soon as we pulled out, I called 911. The operator told me they were already en route and to vacate the scene, took my info, and wished us a fun trip. Walked into a gas station robbery with 2 little kids. Peed and left with no issues. Bad gas wasn't that bad of a guy and let us go. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like, get subscribed, and tell us which story gave you the chills in the comment section, and support the original writers with upvotes, links in the description box.